So let's talk through a few secrets of the Feel No Pain type saves. How strong are they for a bunch of different models? And do you know the way to fast roll them for light infantry? Hello and welcome back to Auspex Tactics, where today I thought we'd do a video on Feel No Pain saves, including a little bit of basic math hammer on the damage saved by these. Maybe helpful for people to weigh up the value a little bit more for just how much it really adds to a unit that has one. Feel No Pain is a rule that's been handed out to at least a fair amount of units in game, maybe not quite as liberally as giving it to entire factions as Games Workshop previously did with the Death Guard. That bit partly maybe just to stop people having to roll entire extra dice rolls every time a unit takes damage, but lots of units out there do have one. Infiltrators with their Helix Gauntlet, Imperial Knights, where it gets better if they get honoured, Blood Angels Death Company have one, Catan Shards have one, and Beast Snaggers have one. These saves basically represent stopping units taking damage by other means besides the actual armour, where the sheer flesh or ferocity and willpower of the model itself might be enough where it just doesn't care too much about the damage, or representing certain medical specialists in game like the Helix Adept of the Infiltrators or the appropriately named Orc Painboy, much to the envy of Death Guard players I'm sure, who are missing any form of the disgustingly resilient type rule from 8th and 9th edition. I must admit, before the 10th edition rules came out, I feel like the Plague Surgeon of the Death Guard would have been about the most odds-on model to have a Feel No Pain type save, and then it turned out he unaccountably didn't. As per the core rules in Warhammer 40K, Feel No Pain type saves happen after you've failed a regular armor saving throw. Quite a lot of units have the Feel No Pain rule listed on their datasheets or conferred by another special rule or character, usually recorded as an X+, such as a 5+, or a 6+, and then for each wound that you've lost on the miniature that's taking damage, you get to roll 1 dice, and if that dice records the X+ or above, then you get to basically ignore the damage. So say this Orc Beast Snagger boy would have the chance to ignore 1 wound damage shot on a 6+, so a small chance that he might be able to live even after his armor has failed him. Unlike armor saves, I'd remember that you can't actually re-roll Feel No Pain saves. They're not on the list of things that you can command point re-roll, and I feel that that's at least a fairly common misconception that some players get wrong. I think it is kind of handy to know exactly how valuable they are to models in game. Often they're built into the unit's profile, but it's maybe a little bit hard to assess at first sight how tanky it really makes them, and sometimes you might have the option of buying in a Feel No Pain type save, maybe with a stratagem for a phase, or an enhancement or a character upgrade joining the units like the Death Corps Marshal for the Imperial Guard. The value of Feel No Pain is maybe the most simple on big multi-wound models, where your opponent's not going to be just drastically overkilling the miniature most of the time. And usually for those kind of models, then you get this sort of increase in your durability. A 6+ Feel No Pain averages you an extra 20% durability on your model. A 5+ Feel No Pain adds up to a 50% durability, so kind of like having 150% worth of the wounds. And a 4+ Feel No Pain is even more powerful, plus 100% durability, so basically double as tough. Kind of makes sense as you're ignoring half the damage. In my videos, I feel like one of the most common questions I get when I talk about the value of Feel No Pain saves is that isn't the 5+ Feel No Pain an extra 33% durability, not an extra 50? Perhaps a fairly understandable question, as it really feels like it should be. It is a 1/3 value of the faces on the dice, so it feels like it should add an extra 1/3 durability to the model. In reality though, it really does wind up as better than that. Just for one simple worked example, say if you have a 12 wound vehicle that's failing saves against a gun with a damage of 3. If you had no Feel No Pain, then it would basically take 4 hits from that weapon to completely destroy the unit. But if you had a 5+ Feel No Pain, then he would ignore 1/3 of the wounds suffered, so you'd be down to 2 damage out of each shot of that gun. And overall that means that the opponent would now need 6 shots to take down that same vehicle, rather than the 4 it would need if that Feel No Pain type save wasn't a thing. Basically, previously you would have needed 4 shots with that same gun to take down the vehicle, now you need 6, so that's an increase of 50%. Giving that vehicle a 5+ Feel No Pain type save essentially makes it as tough as an 18 wound vehicle on average, though as it's a bit random there's always the chance to roll a bit higher or lower. It does mean that even something like 5+ Feel No Pain can be really quite a big deal, and it's a very meaningful buff. That's one of the reasons why I was kind of surprised when the Catan Shards of the Necrons managed to gain this without getting any points increase in return. It was kind of like giving the Katana an increase from 12 wounds to 18 wounds on models that, considering all their other rules, were considered at least fairly durable already. For another example, this Tyrannid Psychophage here, that's got 10 wounds and a 5+ Feel No Pain type save. On average, your opponent will have to shoot through roughly 15 wounds worth of bug to actually bring the thing down. Otherwise, for infantry units, things get a little bit more complicated. And first up, let's start with 1 wound infantry. If you're hit by damage 1 attacks on these guys, it's basically the same as before in terms of how valuable it is. A 6+ Feel No Pain would give you a plus 20% boost, a 5+1 would give you a 50% boost. The difference with 1 wound infantry though is that if you get hit by a multi-damage attack, then your Feel No Pain gets much worse, almost to the point where it's not really worth that much at all. It means that each individual infantry model would have to make multiple saves against that same attack. So a Poxwalker will be rolling 2 dice and trying to get both of them as 6s, which is going to be pretty unlikely. So on these guys, things like a 6+ or 5+ Feel No Pain are really quite meaningful if they're against damage 1 attacks, but become far less so against anything heavier than that. For the Poxwalkers with their 6+ Feel No Pain, a damage 2 means that you need a double 6 to make a single save, so that's 1 in 36 there, only equates to a 3% durability increase, and it's probably just not worth your time rolling anything that's damage 3 for the likelihood of saving a single infantry. You'd have to roll 3 dice 216 times on average to save a single Poxwalker. For me personally, I struggled to value the lives of my chaff quite that much. Things aren't quite as grim with the 5+ Feel No Pains. With damage 2 attacks, you've still got a 1/9 chance to pass, so that equates to a 12% durability increase. It is far worse than against damage 1 though, and again that drops off super hard to the point where it's pretty irrelevant when he gets to damage 3 or above. If you are regularly running big units of 1 wound things with Feel No Pain type saves though, there is a quicker way to fast roll them rather than rolling each set of dice individually, and that could be kind of handy in game as it saves rolling absolutely tons of dice 2x2 or 3x3 if you do want your fair chance of keeping your models alive on the table. Say for example, if we had this Poxwalker squad that was just about to get lit up by a whole bunch of damage 2 weapons by some overcharged Hellblasters, they might need to roll a lot of sets of 2 dice, and it will be handy not to have to roll them individually as that takes quite a while. Say for example we had a big horde of 20 Poxwalkers and they got hit by 18 damage 2 shots. The fastest way to speed up the dice roll, rather than rolling each set of damage 2 as an individual Feel No Pain for each model, you can just roll all 18 together and just make a note of the successes that you get. If you got hit by 18 shots, then rolled 18 dice. These dice are essentially representing the first roll for each model on a Feel No Pain type save, as given that they're 1 wound models. If you don't pass this first roll on the Feel No Pain type save, there's no point in actually making the other, as essentially that miniature's already dead. On this first roll there were 4 successes, 4 rolls of 6, so you could pick them out as the only Poxwalkers that get the chance to live. Then for those other 4 dice you can roll 1 more each. Only one of the second rolls was a 6, so that represents the Poxwalker that passed a 6 on the first roll and then a second roll. So basically out of your roll of 18 Poxwalkers, 17 would have been slain, one of them got lucky to get the 6 and then the second 6. Sometimes it can be kind of big if a single individual model survives, and doing that can have a bit of a higher yield if you've got a better Feel No Pain type save, say for example Deathcore of Krieg with the Field Marshal. Finally though we get to multi-wound infantry and Feel No Pain. I'll just take 2 wound infantry for this example, but basically this one's a little bit more complicated still to have the value of the Feel No Pain on the unit. If you're hit by damage 1 attacks, it's basically the same as before. They get the same increase in durability as they ever would, but it's kind of interesting that they actually get a little bit better against successive attacks of things that will be neatly killing individual models. Say for example if you had these Blood Angels Death Company, which are 2 wound models that get a 6+ Feel No Pain type save. For each miniature you basically get 2 chances to pass a save, and if either one of those dice winds up being a magic 6, then that's really quite good news, as it means that you'll have a Death Company miniature on 1 wound, and then that can happily soak up the entirety of the next damage 2 attack that's coming in. It means that Feel No Pain type saves on these sort of units can actually be more meaningful against very slightly higher damage attacks, anything that would just neatly kill a unit, and then they drop off again afterwards as you get to much higher damage characteristics, where again the model kind of gets overkilled, so it has to make really quite a lot of Feel No Pain type saves to actually matter. It means that say a 2 wound infantry with a 6+ Feel No Pain like Death Company get a 20% durability increase against damage 1 attacks, and then it's roughly around about a 31% increase against damage 2 attacks, just due to the chance that one of those attacks fail. and then models wind up absorbing the entirety of the next attack, even if they are very likely to fail that one. Then after that it drops off again really quite heavily against damage 3, where you're just very unlikely to make 2 6s out of 3 on the dice anyway. So the damage output that you soak up there is a lot less. It does look like it's the same on 5 plus Feel No Pain. I must admit my math is maybe a bit shakier on this one, but by my reckoning it looks like damage 2 attacks are soaked up very slightly better than damage 1 attacks, just due to the effect of incomplete kills. There's much less in this one though, as the initial effect just against damage 1 attacks is a lot more powerful. Again, it drops off a bit more against damage 3 stuff. In any case, hope you've enjoyed a few musings on Feel No Pain type saves in 40k. How do you think they feel for your units? Do they meaningfully increase your durability, or are they not really all that valuable? Look forward to hearing your thoughts down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, then feel free to subscribe to Auspex Tactics, while certainly keep the regular 40k videos coming. I do tend to post new ones just about every day. Finally, if you have been enjoying all the videos on the channel, I would just like to mention that Auspex Tactics does have a Patreon page as well, and you can find that linked in the video description if you'd like to help support and keep these videos coming. Channel patrons do get a fair few advantages, seeing certain videos early, regular votes to see what sort of things happen next on the channel, and automatic entry into the regular prize giveaways with a chance to win some big model kits each month. If any of that sounds good to you, or you'd just like to help support, the link is down in the video description. In any case, a massive thank you for listening, and I'll hope to see you guys next time.